So the Milwaukee Bucks beat back the Nets 86-83 last night. Actually, the Bucks may have won that game, but in reality, we were all losers. That was a brutal game of basketball. That essentially set the sport back about 30 years. It was that brutal. It was that unwatchable. There was only one guy on the floor who was trying to make it better. And I'll get to that legend momentarily. But in the meantime, the rest of them, anybody who had anything to do with that game owes all of us an apology. Now, let me preface this by saying the Milwaukee Bucks are not going to apologize for anything at all. They had to have that win in the worst way. And ugly wins count as much as the beautiful wins, so they're not giving that one back. But damn, that was ugly. Man, that was a pig. That game fell from the very top of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. It's amazing that a game that involved that many All-Stars, 3 absolute Hall of Fame locks, that kind of talent, historic talent, all that talent and that game was still that terrible. And it was. The Nets had 11 points in the first quarter. The Bucks had 15 in the second. They went nearly 9 minutes in the second quarter with only 3 points. The two teams combined for 37 in the fourth. Two teams with great players, and neither of them could break 20 points in the fourth quarter. For a 3-minute stretch in the fourth, neither team even scored. I mean, ugly. It's not like they were both playing this kind of lockdown defense. It's not like we were watching the Ben Wallace Pistons out there or the Jordan Pippen Rodman Bulls out there. It was just a lot of dudes clanking shots and trying to knock over the backboard. And for a stretch, a bunch of those came from none other than Giannis. I can't believe I'm about to be critical of a guy who went 33-14 in a game his team had to have, but my man took 8 threes. And he made 1. He led the Bucks in threes attempted. That's how you want to start. That's what you want to see from that guy. You want to see that guy attacking the basket early and often. And in that moment, he had everybody in Nets gear backing up on skates. You see something like that and you think, look the hell out. The freak is going to spend the entire game attacking the rack, beating guys in the paint, punishing anybody who gets in his way. That's how you end up with a 21-point lead in the first quarter. Except that's not how that went. That's not what he did. Too often he did settle for threes. And no matter how many times he missed, he kept right on firing. And then the Nets kept right on partying because they want that guy to take that shot. They want him to take that mid-range shot, and they want him to take that long-range shot. Every time he took a three, the Nets played off even further. And why the hell not? Until he can make you pay, until he gives you a reason to believe that he's going to knock those shots down, there is no reason to concern yourself with him that far away from the basket. And then that's how you end up blowing most of a 21-point lead in the second quarter. And yes, I know that once Giannis develops a consistent three, it's game over for everybody else in the league. But he doesn't have it right now, or at least he didn't have it last night. The guy's made 3 threes in the series. He's made a total of 4 in this year's playoffs. Total. Yet this dude's out there firing away like he's Klay Thompson or something. And again, I'm not here to crack the Bucks. I know they're not going to apologize for last night's game, even though everybody involved owes us an apology. But they're not going to apologize because the playoffs are about one thing, right? Did you win? They did. They accomplished that part of the mission. Essentially unwatchable for the rest of us, but they made it a lot closer than it should have been. Listen, here's the thing about the Bucks. If you're playing a Nets team on a night when they shoot 36% from the field and 25% from the three, you should smash them up. If their offense has an off night, you better punish them. You better make them pay. And can I reiterate one more time? This is a huge Giannis house. I love the guy. He's unbelievable. He's one of the most dominant players ever to step on the court. But when he pulls up for 8 threes and he only hits 1, he reduces that dominance exponentially. He's making life so much easier for the opposition. He's making life so much easier that the last thing you want to be doing for a team that has Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and Bruce Brown is making it easier. Yeah, I said it. The last thing you want to do for a team that boasts the likes of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Bruce Brown is make it easier for them. Now, check that. That's the law line. The last thing you want to do for a team that boasts the likes of Bruce Brown, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving is make life easier. Hell yes, I just said Bruce Brown in the same breath as Katie and Kyrie. Hell yes, I did correct myself and put him first. And Bruce would probably be pissed off about that as well. Unless I put him first, which I did, and I should. See, basketball in an ugly night of basketball, that night, at least there was that one guy who was trying to make history. That one guy trying to go legend. The Nets were up 1 with under 40 seconds to go, and they had the basketball. A bucket here probably ends the Bucks season, right? So who do you go with? Legends all over the floor. Who do you go with if you want to knock out the Bucks? KD? Kyrie? The Beard? You don't go to KD. You don't go to Kyrie. You go double B, Bruce Brown. I have no problem with that at all. I know the Bruce Brown haters are going to say that guy should not be taking a shot in the final minute of a one-score game when you've got 2 Hall of Famers on the floor. You're entitled to your opinion, no matter how wrong your opinion is. You have 3 Hall of Famers on the floor in white last night. You just haven't realized it yet. And I'll be damned if Bruce Brown wasn't going to make sure that he got another shot at greatness. So let me ask you again. Down 1 with only a few seconds left on the clock, who do you get the ball to? You better get it to Bruce Brown because he's going to take it away from you if you don't, and then the rest of you stay the hell out of the way. I'm telling you, legend. What most fans do not appreciate is how quickly players have to think on the court. You have to consider all the options, and you have to make a split-second decision. And that's exactly what Bruce Brown did. He surveyed the situation. He saw that he had Kevin Durant, one of the most lethal scorers in NBA history, and a 2-time Finals MVP on the floor. He also saw that he had Kyrie Irving, the guy who hit one of the most legendary shots in Finals history out there. Bruce Brown saw all of that. And he scanned all of that, and he went through all of that, and he thought to himself, oh, hell no. You guys are old news. Hell no. This is my time. This is my team. These are the Bruce Brown Nets. KD, Kyrie, you dudes are decoys at this point. I'm drawing this one up for me. Y'all are washed. Man, I love this so much. Oh, and to have the confidence of Bruce Brown in a situation like that, man, I love that too. No, he didn't win the game, but he absolutely redeemed it. This game is now going to be known as the Bruce Brown game. The first 47 minutes were brutal, but the Bucks are not going to apologize for it. And then the last minute was all Brown, and he shouldn't apologize for it either. Man, you do you, legend. You do you. I don't care if the Beard comes back or not. Not as long as they have Bruce freaking Brown running the floor and taking the last shot. As long as that dude's out there, man, they got nothing to worry about. No wonder they're not sweating Harden. They got Bruce Brown. Love this guy's act. 1-800-636-8686. Love this guy's act. Hated that game, man. That was so ugly. Seriously, that set the game of basketball back about 30 years.